Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's video. I am deciding to just go ahead and make these videos instead of waiting for the perfect time. That's part of pivoting. That's what we do around here. If you're new to my channel, my name is Timmy Como Irvi. I recently got married. I am a coach, and you can call me the pivot strategist. I have a coaching and life consultancy practice where I help people pivot into new seasons of life. I thought there would be no better way to show you my pivoting process than to show you my own life and how I'm currently pivoting. I recently ended my maternity leave. Such a beautiful time with my baby, but it's time for me to get back to work, back to my coaching clients. And so I want to walk you through my process of pivot. And I have a whole system that I use with my clients, but I like to maybe get high on my own supply, I suppose, when it comes to pivoting. I like to use my own processes, and I like to also show you what I do in terms of coaching. And so, first, I want to show you my pivot strategy tools that I use for my clients. I think it's really important for you to make your transitions through life with a guide. You don't have to do them randomly or chaotically. They can be done with a lot of intentionality and practicality as well. So I'm actually going to share my screen because throughout today's live, I'm going to be showing you some of my tools. I will show you what I use in terms of keeping myself organized, but also inspired. I'm also going to share with you some links so that you can get a hold of these things yourself. So I'm going to be splitting my attention between the camera here and then also my computer, which is here. I'll show you and share my screen. So give me one moment and I will pull up my screen. If you stick around with me long enough, you're going to learn that I am quite a big fan of Notion. Notion is like one of my favorite tools when it comes to being organized. And I took my pivot planner, it's actually a physical book, and I put it on a Notion template. So let me put it on a Notion template, and my Notion template is there so that if you're a person who likes to be organized with digital tools, you can do that. So let me share with you my page. So the pivot planner, this is the banner on Notion. And so this is the description of the planner. The pivot planner is a tool to help you craft a vision for your future and a plan to secure it. The way you navigate your life's pivots can determine the course of your life. It's best to go in with a plan. So if you go to the page, you will see that I actually have the pivot planner and the pivot journal in not only English, but also, oops, here's a pop up here, but also in Spanish. I did a really cool pro bono project where I was coaching people in Costa Rica, and that gave me an opportunity to translate my diary, my journal, into Spanish. So if you're a Spanish speaker, my journal is available in Spanish and English. So everything started with the pivot journal. And then we went to the Mi Diario Pivote Personal, which is the Spanish version. And then the Pivot Planner was the final iteration. So when you get the planner, here is what you're going to see inside. I'm big on what I call the big three goals. It's very easy for you to start trying to plan your life and to try to tackle everything at once. But my way of approaching goals is that I want you to first think about the big three. What are the three negotiables that you need to make sure that you complete in that season, in that week, in that day? So I break it down into the big three. I think number one, three is my favorite number, but three is a really great way to focus with intentionality without being burned out with too many goals that you're trying to do at the same time. So here are the sections of the planner. And let me pause for a moment and kind of go on a little rant. I am a former teacher, and when I was teaching, I was obsessed with finding the perfect planner. And I tried different planners over time, ones that were hourly, ones that were just blocks of time without any real time measurements attached to anything. I did it free and I did it very timely. I did a dated one and I did undated ones. And so I actually came up with a planner that was undated, and it also was hourly increments with like some 30-minute sections in there, and then a to-do list, but also free space for you to plan however you saw fit for your life at that given time. I thought that the flexibility was really important, and it made it customizable and adaptable for everyday life. So I'll go back to the page now. Um, and so when you go ahead and you look at let me make this a little bigger so you can see, when you look at the page, you want to see what works best for you. So if you're a daily planner kind of person, that format exists in there. There's also the opportunity to be weekly. You can look at your week at a glance. You can look at it monthly. And then there's also a notebook function. I'm a big journaler. So sometimes I just want to bullet journal, or sometimes I might just want to jot down my ideas in a way that are it's more free, and I'm not as constrained. Okay. So I actually have on the same page a walkthrough. If you end up using this Notion version, you can look at my walkthrough where I include examples of how I've used it in my own personal life. All right, so let's talk about some of the nitty gritty ways, and I'll demo for you what this looks like, right? So let's say you're using the planner, and in your planner, you want to be able to journal in a way that makes sense, or planner in a way that makes sense. So I will show you what a sample looks like here. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so in my sample, I'm going to open this nice and wide so we can see. Typically, I'll start first with, oops. Be patient with me, y'all. Okay. Notion is super fun, and it's customizable in the ways that you view these things. So I love that when it's your turn and you get to navigate this, you get to choose how you want to do it. Okay, so here's my sample. And I have a little bit of a blurb for a guide there. This helps you focus on what really matters throughout the week. With your big 3 goals as your focus, you can be ensured that your activities lead you to accomplish this goal. So whenever you think about the goals and you start making your to-do list should reflect your goals, right? And so they should be moving you towards your goal. So you start out with the week and your 3 goals. You simply outline them. They could be about your personal life. They could be about your work. It could be about your health, wellness, things like that. So you start there. You highlight what your 3 goals would be. And then from there, for every week, you focus on 3 things that will support the goals for your week. And so there are check boxes here. So you can check them when you're done, when you've done the things. And so they're little icons here. Let me make this page a little bit bigger for you to see. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. All right, so then you have your goals for the week, things that you're trying to work on. And then you have your things your 3 things that will support those goals. I added in here a spot for gratitude. I think gratitude is really important because gratitude is really important. Keeping track of the things that you're doing and how your life is going, that gratitude marker is for you to be able to say, okay, I am progressing towards my goal. I am moving into the things I want to pivot in. And I want to pause and say this. A lot of times when we address pivots, we think pivots are happening all at once. Actually, a pivot is usually done gradually, a few degrees at a time, and then you move into the thing that you want to transition into. So this format kind of gives you a little bit of grace. And so I also have a habit tracker that's separate from this, but included in this planner, I also included maybe a few other habits that you want to do. So whatever good habit is, it's also a check here. And then you can include, is it exercise? Is it journaling? Is it prayer, meditation, whatever it is, you can include it in your week. So it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then at the end of it, your day or your week, right? You're going to have 1 sentence to reflect your day. Change that there. And you see how I'm changing this in real time? I can adapt it to fit what I want, right? So I have a reflection, and the reflection doesn't have to be very long. It's just 1 sentence. How would I describe today? Today, I did really well with this and that. or, I wish I could have done better in this area. What's the highlight of your day? Include that. That's part of that gratitude exercise. For the future, what is one thing that you will adjust? It's really important for you to keep in your mind the small thing that could actually have a pivotal impact on what you do in the future, right? So, what is that thing that you would like to adjust? This is what the weekly example would look like. You look at everything all at once. Let's go back one page. And let's now look at what it is when you're doing it on a daily basis. The daily basis is actually a little bit more structured, and that daily outlook is more like an hourly increment of what you're going to do, your to dos for the day. So let's take a look at that. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm showing you this in real time because obviously your internet speed will impact how you're able to navigate these pages. But I want you to be able to see that whenever you're looking at your pivot planner, it's very customizable to you and what you're going to do. So here's a pivot planner. Let me show you what it looks like if you choose the day option. If you are looking at it in a day, you're going to end up looking at it this way. So in this one, I just put a letter to myself. You might just want to be mindful of a few things. Okay. Oops. 1 second. I opened the wrong page. Oh, my baby's waking up. Okay, so I might have to continue this later. You might hear a baby crying in the back. So going back to daily planning. So there is an option to look at daily planning and looking at it with an agenda. So when you look at it with an agenda, you're actually able to see it broken down on an hourly basis. So let me pull that up for you so you can see. All right, same thing, 3 things, still very important. You're going to pick your 3 things that are important to you to accomplish for the day. It might be a project you need to get done. It might be an event that you need to attend. It might be something that you need to complete. Once again, check boxes. I have a little bit of a habit tracker here. It's a mini one. You can choose, are you exercising? Is it, vitamins that you want to take? Here's the bulk of this. The key is the agenda portion. The agenda portion has hourly increments, 30-minute increments, and hour blocks there. And you can track your day all the way to 10 p.m. What are you going to be doing on a day-to-day basis? Remember, you're looking at your 3 things. What are the 3 things that are going to be my priority for the day, and how do I address those things? So those are the planner entries there. And then let me switch over to another tab here. I'm going to share this tab. This is on my coaching website, and I'll probably wrap here. My pivot system, you can find all of it on my website, timicomo.com/pivot. And on there, you can actually get a copy of my pivot journal and my planner. And so when you do that, the pivot planner is down here. You can actually get a digital version of it on Gumroad. Gumroad is an amazing platform that allows you to just get all of my content, and you're able to find it all here. So here's a pivot planner. And when you get to the pivot planner, you can actually download some of my worksheets, and you can download in whatever format you'd like. I have the pivot strategy workbook. That's your self-audit, your goals and vision setting. That's your trackers. And I have all of my undated planners, monthly, weekly, daily, and the notebook setting. And so you get all of those things. If you want the full version of it, it's available for just $20, and it's digital, or you can buy a print version of that. Okay, well, baby's crying, gotta go. Thanks so much for checking out my systems. I'm going to be back with another video in a couple days where I talk about my own process of pivoting. And I'm going to walk you through all of the pivot strategy concepts and the way of work. Okay, like you heard, baby's crying, gotta go. Bye, y'all. Take care. Happy pivoting. I'm coming, baby.